couple weeks after Terron's death. So just a couple months ago, I went back onto his page and, was just curious if anybody else posted anything. And there was a post on there, a comment that said, I'll inbox you. And so I'm like, okay, well, this person must have something they feel they can't, put to the public eye. So I actually messaged that person, and she contacted me, and she is the aunt of the man who Crystal claimed to be in a relationship with. And she says that this guy tells her nephew tells her, that the only reason he put that up there, that post that he was in a relationship with Crystal, is because was to protect Crystal from the people who were coming after her up there in Potsdam about Terron. If you have nothing to hide, why do you need somebody to protect you? So I believe there's so many people that know exactly what happened and are hiding it.
So you feel that this gentleman here on Facebook was not actually in a relationship with Crystal. He just said he was.
Well, that's what I was told. I believe he may have been in a relationship with Crystal.
Yeah, when we're going by stuff like this, like Facebook posts, stuff and secondhand comments from aunts, this is just so frustrating, all this. Now, when you were on the show last time, there was some suspicion, perhaps, that the informants were involved, the people, confidential informants, people who were working as informants. Any new information in that area?
No, I just know that Crystal and her son are both police informants.
And the son made a statement that they were arguing the night before. And this is a statement he made in writing?
It was his statement to Deputy Sheriff John Jones, the same deputy sheriff I was calling out in regards to Garrett's case. He made that statement to Deputy Sheriff John Jones, written. Well, it's typed. I didn't see it. It's not his hand. It's not Brian's handwriting. It is typed up with Deputy Sheriff John Jones' signature and Brian's name.
Now, you're so passionate about this, and I know you spend many hours a day, every day, on this.
Yeah.
And still, there's no help coming to you from a nationwide source. Attorney Ben Crump. There's no nationwide attention focused on this.
No, there's not. And I hate to say it. I mean, all deaths matter. Yeah. All deaths matter. It shouldn't be just the ones who, somebody took a video and showed it to the world. But because Terron's case is not or was not high profile, that's why most of these big organizations that, claim to help people, in unjust situations due to law enforcement and, other situations, they don't want to help unless it's high profile, and that's sad.
Yeah, but there's also a way, they have a way of making it high profile. Because I don't know if we talked about this last time, but Byron Williams in Las Vegas, it's the same exact, months before George Floyd, months before, it's the same exact case. The guy's on police body camera saying, I can't breathe. They're laughing at him, saying, no one's going to come help you. Ha, ha, ha. His only charge was he was riding on a bicycle with no headlight. That was his crime. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the cameras go off. It's nighttime. They come back on. It's daytime. And they have medics working on the guy. Same exact, I can't breathe. He's screaming, I can't breathe. The same case. Crump came in later on after we were working on it for years. But so they have a way of making these things nationwide attention.
Right. I think that for a lot of these organizations and even government officials, it's almost like we have to do 98% of the work. Yeah. And then once it seems so obvious to them, then they'll do something.
But it's like you've done more than 98%. You're doing this 24 hours. Do you have any help with you? Or is anyone helping you with the work that I see you doing?
No, I do all that on my own.
How's your health?
I don't know.
You must be very exhausted, right?
Very. I'm very, very exhausted. I'm going through depression.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to get up and get out and get off the internet sometimes, you know. I have to go back up to Potsdam on the 3rd because I'm having an event for Terron. And then I have to stay up there because my mom's having surgery, you know. So I'm, you know, of course, nervous about going up there, you know. So I'm not going to say my health is 100%.
Yeah. Now you said there's an event June 3rd?
Yes, June 3rd in Potsdam, New York. It's a Black Lives Matter Truth and Justice for Terron Evans Jr. protest, march, and candlelight vigil. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Potsdam Post Office.
Okay, now that's on June 3rd in Potsdam, New York at the Post Office at 6 p.m. Okay?
Yes.
And people can turn out for that. But also, too, keep an eye on Justice for Terron Evans Jr., Potsdam, New York, GoFundMe. Okay, and we'll try and have. I apologize. Usually, I ask if there's any upcoming dates or events coming up that we can promote. So I forgot to do that before the interview. So okay, so where do you see things progressing with this?
I don't see anything progressing except for what I'm doing and finding out. As far as anybody who can actually, you know, bring criminal charges or do an actual investigation, I don't see any of that happening from anywhere, anybody.
Yeah, in these small towns. And now, when you post these videos and stuff like that on TikTok and things, do you get any kind of tips or any kind of response?
No, I wish I did get tips. I mean, I've gotten, you know, personal messages, you know, from not many people on TikTok. It's more on Facebook that have a lot to say about Crystal. But, of course, I get a lot of responses on my videos and things, you know, and people calling. And, honestly, I feel that's why the St. Lawrence County attorney actually released certain things to me in March because of the pressure by so many people calling and emailing. And in March, he told me he could not release those 2 body cam videos from O'Connell that came to my house twice on the 8th. But as of yesterday, they mailed them out to me. And it's all, I know it's because of so many people calling and emailing and putting pressure on these people.
Yeah, I remember.
You know?
There was about a week when you showed the number and you showed the email. Now, do you have that number and that email handy right now to share with us?
I can get it for you.
The Potsdam, while you're getting that, of the Potsdam District Attorney's Office to show support for the death of Terron Evans Jr., Potsdam, New York. Once again, you could find this at TikTok at Jen Thomas Bidwell on TikTok and Jen Thomas Bidwell on Facebook. Those are the 2 main ones. There's a petition, too, you could check out. If you can find this link tree, there's a YouTube as well. My YouTube, Seeking Justice for Terron. And there's, if you can find this link tree, it's on the Facebook. You can find it there. It's on Twitter, too, as well. There's all kinds of stuff, the body cam video. So did you have the Potsdam DA's office phone number and email? So
I have the New York State Attorney General.
Yeah.
And we need to request that they investigate the death of Terron Evans Jr. Her number is 1-800-771-7755. We need the St. Lawrence County District Attorney called at 315-379-2225, demanding that he refer Terron Evans Jr.'s case to the Attorney General to be reopened and reinvestigated. We also need the New York State Governor, Letitia James, called or emailed, demanding that she refer Terron's case to the New York State Attorney General to be reopened and reinvestigated. The New York State Governor's phone number is 518-474-8390.
Okay, so that's Letitia James, and you hear her name all the time because of her lawsuit against Donald Trump for $250 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's, has some spare time to look into this, it's 518-474-8390. And then you have the New York State Attorney General, 800-771-7755, and the DA's office, 315-379-2225. And we got to put some pressure on these people to get this case wide open. Again, June 3rd in Potsdam, the post office at 6 p.m. If you can show up there, a nice, warm, living body to show up there and show people you mean business. That's always helps too as well. Oh, boy.
That's very important. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's very, very important that people show up. I so understand that people, can't make it, travel long distances and that. But it's so important that people show up, because when we only show up as a group of 5, 6, or 7, then police are in there laughing at us. The citizens of that town are riding by laughing at us. No, Black lives don't matter because, look, you only have 5 people here. So it's very important that people show up.
And it's so important you say that because, the knee-jerk reaction with all these folks when they hear Black Lives Matter is, well, all lives matter, but actually the opposite of Black Lives Matter is Black Lives don't matter. That's what the opposite really is. And when you object to Black Lives Matter, you're really saying Black Lives don't matter, not that all lives matter. Okay?
Right.
Go ahead.
The thing that people fail to realize is Black Lives Matter is not a message to the general public. Black Lives Matter is a message to the police. Mm-hmm. And that's where people get it confused. That message is not for the general public. The whole thing is about the police. And they have to understand that.
Yeah, we can't just idly sit by while innocent, unarmed people are just shot down, just like it's nothing, or
right.
Choked out. Like we've seen the videos.
Right.
Eric
right.
Garner. We've seen these videos. 14 minutes. And then they say, "Oh, well, we need new training." But if you watch the Eric Garner video, the long one, the 14-minute one, there's a person of color, a female sergeant of color, stepping over the body, man. Like it doesn't matter. Right. Having people in handcuffs when they're clearly dying. These policies, which is procedure and policy, need to be changed. It's not the training. That's what they're trained to do.
Right, exactly.
And showing up at this, I guess again the training is, you show up at a guy overdosing in bed. First thing is, get the Narcan. Probably a suicide. To just walk away from those kind of things and have as little paperwork as possible.
Right.
And especially when you see that the mother and the family are enemies of the state, to make things nice and smooth and easy. Anything I haven't asked you, these discrepancies, it's since the last time we've had you on, because people can go back and find the first interview. We go into great detail about that young boy you mentioned too, who was murdered 11 years ago, that you were first bringing attention to. But any other discrepancies in this case since the last time you want the audience to know about?
There's just so many, and most of them I've talked about. It's just all of them that I've talked about, and I'm sure I'll find more. And I thought it was odd too on the January 8th audio only interview how Crystal asked, "Is there going to be an autopsy?" Like, why do you care about an autopsy? Why? You know what I mean? So I know that Crystal had something to do with the death of my son. Whatever happened, however he died, it began the night of January 7th, 2021, and it is in that file dated January 7th, 2021, 10:41 p.m. of the sheriff's.
You mentioned this interview with her and her son. Were they in the same room when they were interviewed, or were they interviewed separately?
Yep. It actually was Crystal, her son, her sister-in-law, and her best friend. We're all in, I'm assuming, the living room during these interviews.
some of this you can say, well, okay, it's a tiny little police force, a tiny little town. They don't have a lot of experience. Got a guy 20 years old. He's quitting his job. He's moving to meter maid, whatever you said, parking enforcement, or something like that. You say, well, they're young, they're naive, they're not doing that. I see a lot of that too, man. I tell you see a lot of that. But